When we register someone and they're properly registered, we research and we see what federal purchasing officers in your area are buying your products and services, and we give you a list of their names and phone numbers. And I teach you how to create an elevator pitch, how to create your capability statement that you're going to use to email or fax to these guys, and I physically show you how to market yourself directly to the federal purchasing agents. I also show you how to access SUBNET. SUBNET is a database through the SBA that has a list of those prime contractors that are doing contracts over $650,000 that have to hire subcontractors, and they're aggressively looking for small businesses all the time. I show you how to access that list, and once we have your cap statement and your elevator pitch together, all you got to do is call these guys and email them and introduce yourself, and you will find subcontract work through primes. These guys are aggressively looking for subs. And there's three beautiful points about doing sub work for the federal government. Now, I know in the private industry, when you talk about subcontract work, some people cringe. They don't want to do sub work because they've been burned before. You do a job. I know a guy did a sub job for a construction company, and the guy just blatantly didn't pay him. He had to take him to small claims court. He had to sue him. The federal government's different because they enforce subcontracting through the 23% rule. If you do a sub job for a prime and he doesn't pay you, you can go to the GAO, which is the Government Accountability Office, and you can make an anonymous complaint to the GAO, and they will investigate it. And if they're not paying you and it's their fault, the government kind of will enforce them to pay you. And they don't want to not pay you because then they could lose the contract in the future. The second best part about doing sub work with the federal government is that counts as past performance. Past performance is what the government considers experience, jobs that you've done that shows that you've got experience with the federal government. Subcontract work does count as past performance. So getting in on your first contract as a new company, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes legwork, and you gotta make phone calls, and you gotta submit bids. But if you line up a few subcontract jobs first and get that past performance under your belt, it gets easier and easier as it goes. And they pay.
Can you tell me what the acronym GAO is?
Government Accountability Office, and it's GAO.gov is the website. And if you bidding on a contract in FBO, for instance, or like you said, by the time you get in there and submit your bid, they're telling you it's too late. If you think something's fishy going on, which does happen, again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This isn't a perfect system. I firmly believe we live in the best country in the world. Our government's not perfect, but I think it's up there. If something fishy is going on, I've seen contracts that were supposed to be service-disabled veteran contracts that were awarded to a non-service-disabled veteran. I showed my client how to go to the GAO and put in an anonymous complaint, and within 2 days, that contract was retracted. Something fishy was going on there. Somebody was scratching somebody's back, and it happens. But if you know how to use this system, and you know how to catch people when they are trying to beat the system, and you make an anonymous complaint, it will be investigated by the GAO. The federal the 23% requirement on federal purchasing officers used to be Obama was saying, look, if you don't hit your 23% requirement, I'm going to cut your budget. But the purchasing officers came back. There was actually the amendment we talked about earlier back in 2012, and there was another one on June 6, 2012, which I remember because it was my son's birthday, where Obama eliminated the rule of two and took away the threshold. The 23% requirement on the federal side, if they don't meet it, they don't have to, their budget's not cut. But they have made all these modifications to make it easier for them to meet it. And the main reason why he won't cut the budget is because there's literally not enough small businesses registered properly and using the system properly to do 23%. It's like punishing somebody for not doing anything wrong.
If you'd like to speak with John Wayne about government contracting or book him at one of your events, feel free to call him at 877-252-2700 extension 747.